Hey there, YouTube. Still Saturday, still February 16th, 2019. I was watching this old movie clip about. It's not really an old movie though. It's like a mid '60s movie, but it's depicting late 1700s, early 1800s prairie town life. But it's a modern movie. You know what I mean? They're depicting, back in the day, and before we were populated over here, when people were still coming over and still not even all the way out west yet. That bullshit story. All right. Well, she's telling all the kids, right? She's showing in this book how she's describing that the world's a sphere and everything, it's a ball and we go around that, right? Talking about Galileo and Copernicus, right? The devil children that they were, right? So she's talking about it in all this beautiful light, and the little kids are just trying to wrap their head around it, like, what the hell are you talking about? The only book we were ever read from was, the Bible, and it tells us it's flat, fixed, and immovable. It's on pillars. We live in there, and there's a firmament above our heads that separates the waters from the waters. And da, 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 da. And how come people don't fall off the bottom when they're upside down, Miss So and So? She said, well, because of this wonderful magical force, gravity, and it holds us firm. And well, at that moment, the elder, the patriarch, right, of their little village or whatever, the old man standing there looks like a damn caveman with a penguin suit on and this funny hat, right? Just totally look, so uneducated, just primitive. But the pretty teacher, the pretty main actress teacher, is, telling the little kids and everything. But this guy here, he's already demonized. If you're looking at it, it's totally propagandized. And I never saw it this way before. But they're making, and she starts explaining how, Sir Isaac Newton, and everything. And he said, hold on. She goes, the little kid goes, but we were always taught the world was flat. And she goes, well, no. And then the old man jumps in. He goes, you were told right. Don't you listen to her. And she's like, Mr. So-and-so, Sir Isaac Newton discovered gravity in 1687. What? He discovered it? What? Shit wasn't falling down before that? Huh? What, shit fall up when he discovered it? No, he gave it a name. That's all. He called it something. He didn't discover shit. Everybody discovered it because everybody fell down before. Everybody had to climb up something before. Everybody discovered it. Fuck that, he discovered it. No, he gave it a name. But you know what? Many, many, many more, and including himself, also gave it another name. It's called density and buoyancy. That's it. That's all the laws of gravity. The laws of density, the laws of buoyancy. That's the laws of gravity. Observable, measurable, and repeatable. You can do it. I could do it. Dave down the street could do it. Anybody could do that. That's science. Density and buoyancy. Listen, I'll give you the balloon. All right? Here's the balloon. This is the one I break it down with. You take a balloon with oxygen in it, right? You pull it down underwater, and it rises to the top and stops at the surface. It doesn't go up any higher. Why? Because the air inside is equal to the air outside. The density of the balloon itself, the rubber, the density of the balloon itself is not heavy enough to overcome the pressure of the air inside to go up. If you put helium in it and pull it down, it's going to keep going up if there's enough helium to overcome the density of the weight of the rubber of the balloon itself. Right? It'll rise through the air because helium's less dense as the air around it. Right? The balloon has mass. If you fill it up with oxygen, it stops at the surface of the water. But it sits a little bit under the surface because the density of the balloon itself does have an effect on the surface of the water. It does go below the horizontal very slightly because the balloon doesn't weigh that much, but it does. Now, if the gravity was real, the density of the balloon wouldn't matter. But it does. If you pull all the air out, tie it off, throw it in the water, it sinks. It's density and buoyancy, not gravity. You understand? Telling you gravity's stronger at the ground than in the air. They fly a space shuttle up into the air. You're looking at it, right? It drops the engines, the rockets, and the fuel tank, right? They fall to the earth. That means they are still under the power of our gravity. Yet they still got another 300, 400, 500 miles to go to get into space. They ain't got no power. All the fuel's gone. And they still have the bigger part of the journey to go. What? Oh, ain't no gravity shit, man. That's superstitious. It is. That's the superstition. Think about it. There is a force that we can't see that's pulling things down to earth. It holds things in while we spin at 1,040 miles per hour at the equator. While we're going around the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. Yeah. When we're being hurled out at 2.5 million miles per hour. Yeah. We're being dragged along by the sun at 2.5 million miles per hour. We're doing 66,600 miles per hour. It doesn't say that. You know what it says? It says 18.5 miles per second. That's what it says. Nobody thinks of miles per second. Do the math. 18.5 times 60. All right? For the second. Right? Well, for the minutes. Then you go 18.5 to get the minutes. Seconds, minutes. Get them up there. And you'll see 66,600 miles per hour. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. It's not somebody's agenda. It's a coincidence that it just happened to add up to that. Well, I'm tough. It's the way I see it. Because it makes a hell of a lot more sense than the story we're given. And it doesn't contradict itself ever. It's the way I say it.